Hello. It's Friday, April 10th, and maybe around dinner time for some people, early dinner. All right, so it's day 10 of the Self Care is Our Best Defense challenge during this shelter in place situation. So I want to follow up. I downloaded the Peloton app, which is free for 90 days yesterday morning, and my day 9 video was about my two favorite apps right now, Marco Polo and the Peloton app. And I heard about the Nike app is also free for 90 days, I think. Somebody else told me because everybody I'm talking to, I'm telling them about the Peloton app. So there's the Nike app as well. Everybody likes different things. And there's also an app called Sweat, and that one's a little bit more challenging, I hear. So try a bunch of different things and see what you do. See what you like. So in the Peloton app, I was going to share. I did a 20-minute video because I'm just checking out what they have with. The 20-minute video is called Slow Flow by Ross Rayburn, and I just wanted to show you what an example. So I had to take a screenshot. Sorry, the window is blocking. Screenshot of the app screen, sorry, in order to see, and then I do the thing where you make it bigger in order to read it. And so in order to read who taught the class, I have to make it extra big because I'm low vision or legally blind. Thank you, smartphone people, for making my life easier. Thank you. Although not everything can get big. But anyway, what was I going to talk about? So today's topic, honor the struggle. Okay, so I wanted to tell you the short story, and I'll probably elaborate on at some point about this, but the short story of my vision loss is so I have a genetic gift from my mother's side of the family, and my grandfather had the same condition and he never drove, and that was like a big deal during World War II, right? So imagine if you were a gentleman and during World War II and you could not be part of the military because you had a thing inhibiting that, like you had a physical problem with you, and that would disqualify you from being in the military, where everybody else has some sort of association with the military at the time. So anyway, I mean, I have no idea how he felt about it or anything. I knew he couldn't drive, but he worked in the steel mill, so certainly a capable gentleman. And so he had the same vision loss, and I only remember when he was older that he used a magnifier, and I only knew him as an older person, an older adult. I like to say older adult instead of elderly. But anyway, so my mom also has this condition, but she didn't find out until in her 50s, when she started losing vision in a different way, because she wears glasses, and always did as a child. And I never wore glasses. So the way I found out about my vision loss was I learned how to drive when I was like 15 or 15 and a half, or whenever, like the first day that you could possibly get a driver's permit. That's what I did. A friend and I decided that was important to us. So we did that, even though I personally didn't have access to a car at the time, I think. So I don't know. We just kind of like go with the flow, and like the new thing that you're allowed to do because of your age, you just go do it, right? If you can, if it makes sense, even though I lived in Boston where you don't need to drive. Hilarious, right? Anyway, everybody has their driving story. So I learned how to drive. And then when I was about 17 and a half or something like that, I was driving on highways, and the highway signs, the green highway signs with the white writing, were not as crisp as they used to be, and I could grab them, I could read them right when I went under them. So I could get the content, the information, the words that were important to me that I was looking for right before I went under them. And so I was like, I don't know, this can't be good. So I went to the equivalent of iWorld, or a place where you can get glasses, optometrist, right? And they gave me some glasses, but I totally remember that the gentleman that hooked me up with glasses had this feeling like something was not right. I just got this sense, and he didn't share any words with me to give me any other indication, but I had this feeling that he just didn't feel super confident in, the glasses that he was giving me and that they would actually help me. But anyway, I was off on my way, had my first pair of glasses when I was 17. And the glasses, I remember they were like basically putting clean glass in front of my eyes. So, when you're in a skyscraper and like super tall building, right? And you're looking out and the glass is like pristine and it feels like you're kind of like almost outside because the glass is so clean. So it felt like that. Just like a little bit better. Crisp around the edges. That's what I'm going to go with. So slight improvement. I'm going to go with, 5 to 10% improvement. So I wore those glasses when I drove, and I wore those glasses to see distance, mostly. And then a couple years go by, and I go to get new glasses when I'm 19 years old. And at the time I lived in Rhode Island, one of the forgotten states. Delaware might be the other forgotten state, but anyway, so Providence, Rhode Island, go to college for the first time and didn't complete that college experience to the end. So anyway, I go to the optometrist, and the optometrist that I went to was very concerned that she couldn't figure out how to correct me with glasses. And so she sent me that very day dilated. And if you've ever been dilated, it's super fun. And if you're not sure if I'm joking or being sarcastic, I'm being extremely sarcastic. So in the winter, the dead of winter, when there's snow on the ground in Rhode Island, I walk dilated to the Rhode Island Eye Institute. Upon arrival, pictures of the back of the eye of the back of my eye are taken, and I was diagnosed right then with hypoplasia of the optic nerve. What that means for me specifically, I don't know if it means anything the same for everybody else, but what that means for me is I have pale optic nerves. So if you have healthy optic nerves with no problem, they're pink. So I'm jealous of those of you who have pink optic nerves. But for now, I don't think you can get new optic nerves. And if there was a risk of losing my vision completely and having the vision I have now, and like cutting out my optic nerves and getting new ones, I think I'm cool with the vision I have now. Anyway, so 20, that was rude. I didn't turn off my phone notifications. Okay, 23. So when I was 20, I drove cross country, my last drive. Seriously, my last drive. Cross country with a good friend of mine. We're still friends, those friends, forever. The smiles for her. And you. We drove cross country. That was my last drive. I knew it was going to be my last drive. Once I moved to San Francisco, and I've been here for 23 years, I haven't driven since. And that was that. So over time, when I was 27, now I'm 43, looking pretty good, right? You better be laughing at this point. So 20 years ago-ish, just over 23 years ago, I moved to San Francisco. Ever since, I gave up my license before I had to, knowing that I was going to have to give my license up. So that was my honoring the struggle, right? So facing what could potentially be a future struggle, right? I'm not gonna be able to drive for the rest of my life, whatever this is, whatever that emotional struggle is. I faced it, and I was like, you know what? I'm cool with the whole not driving. And I live in the city. I'm a city gal. And if I were to live in the country, I'd have to have somebody to drive me around. And I'm an independent lady. I like to go places on my own and stuff like that. Find my journeys on my own and get lost on my own and find my way back safely. So there is struggle, but honoring it and dealing with it head on, because running into the fire and dealing with it, facing the emotions, having the emotions, crying if that happens, if that's a thing. For you gentlemen, it may be beneficial to exercise it out. You guys need to like sweat it out and like get out your physical stuff in a physical, like get your emotions out in a physical way to release, right? And so to women, but I'm just saying. So facing things and working towards them over time. Everything's a process. Everything in life is a process. You become friends with somebody. It's a process. You get to know each other, whatever, right? You have a situation, a problem. Like I was born with this vision condition, and I'm figuring out how to manage. I'm still figuring out how to manage. And like this week, I did a ton of office work and like typing. I mean, most of my work now is office, computer. I didn't mean office, computer oriented, which to me is more office work, right? So computer work, typing, reading, Zoom video appointments, right? Everybody's doing the Zoom videos, right? Whether or not it's with friends or with clients, whatever. And so this type of work is like way too much computer work for me. So I have to figure out how to modify what I'm doing to make it so that I can do my work and be my best version of myself for my clients, my patients, to help them where they are. So that's my little spiel about my vision loss and my approach to life, because there's always going to be some sort of challenge. And if you honor the struggle and you face the fact that things will happen, then you're already you're already prepared with the tools that you need to take the next step. So if you make the assumption, and I know we're not supposed to assume, but it's fair to assume that challenging stuff that doesn't feel good will happen. So having the tools and strategies and approaches that work for you to deal with it. So you're not like something happens and you're like, oh, like mad, and everybody knows what that looks like. And that's not cool, right? You come home from work and you say, oh, today was horrible. And it's like angry, and I'm trying not to do it in an angry way. It's like, who wants that, right? Like we already have plenty of issues out there in the world. Anyway, so that's my my spiel for today. A little bit about my vision loss story, and hopefully my vision will plateau, stay steady at this point. And I ride a bike in San Francisco. Maybe I'll share some stories about riding a bike. But there's cool people that ride bikes that have vision loss. You guys should check out Bobby McMullen. Bobby McMullen is like some serious mountain biker, and he rides for Santa Cruz. And when I met him, he's a motivational speaker. He was recovering from a broken femur bone. So the femur bone is the bone. Maybe you guys already know this because everybody's like a nerd and knows everything nowadays. But the femur bone is the bone in your thigh. He was recovering from a broken femur bone when I met him, and I was like, you are crazy. He's broken like almost everything a couple times. But he's quite the inspirational person. So that's a little bit about my story about vision loss, and little concepts about honoring the struggle, and that you don't have to live in the struggle, right? You work on strategies to help you move through the struggle. I hope that makes sense. Cool. That's it for me. Day 10 of the self-care is our best defense challenge. Okay, hasta mañana, and tomorrow's day 11. See, time flies when you're having fun. 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 Oh my goodness, I can't touch the button. Yes.